Yeah, this was a scary play. This was Peterson and Macklin both hit each other and they went out. But anyway, this is part 2 to my video. Where basically I'm gonna break down a few points. One point is gonna be my first point is gonna be it's time to move on from Nate Allen, and I think the Eagles know that because of course you read about the trade rumors and everything that they're looking for a safety to replace Nate Allen. And I agree fully with that because I think it's time to move on from him. He been here too many years to still be playing the way he playing. I mean, you can consider him a veteran, and as a veteran, you look at like your instincts get better. You're supposed to grow along with the NFL. You're supposed to grow in the NFL and learn new things. And it just seems like Nate Allen, he's just not there when it comes to like secondary. Like his instincts is terrible. Like he's always trailing the play. He's always leaving the cornerbacks out to dry. Not to justify like the cornerbacks having their bad games too, but I'm talking about strictly zone coverage where you know how teams shut down Deshaun Jackson with the safety help over the top. The only way he'll score if you got a safety over the top is if the safety is not there, and that's what happened in the Washington game. So of course you have this game where he did force the fumble on the he did force the fumble and recover it and everything, but he had the illegal hands to the face penalty. I think on third down with Trent Cole sacked Palmer and made him fumble or whatever. We get the illegal hands to the face call on Nate Allen. So like he his heart is there, but his work ethic on the field is not there. Like I mean, I'm sure he goes into the game with the biggest heart in the world. Like he'll hit you and everything, but playing safety in the NFL, man, he's no Earl Thomas. He's not gonna be none of them guys. But the main thing about being a safety is, you know, just that chemistry with your cornerback. And last year, you know, our secondary was last in the league, and this year it's like we still get torched through the air. But if you go back to Kurt Coleman, guys like that, Nnamdi Asomugha, like those guys did get burnt a lot, but at the same time, like they got burnt a lot and then went to the sideline. If you look at their reactions, they looking at the defensive coordinator like, what the hell was my safety help? In the Washington game where Kerry Williams got burnt by Deshaun, he did miss the tackle. He throws his helmet in frustration like, come on, man, you like a safety's supposed to be there most of the time. And to be a veteran in the NFL now and been in the NFL long enough, you still trailing plays. You still trailing the receiver on plays where you're supposed to be over the top. Like you're supposed to be bang bang right there where the ball is. If your instincts tell you that your cornerback is getting beat, boom, in the blink of an eye, you're supposed to be over the top. Whereas like you can make a play on the ball. He never makes plays on the ball, especially deep balls, because he's usually like leaving his cornerback hanging out to dry. And it's just a lot with him, man. Like, and I'm just as frustrated as when you got your defensive coordinator and your coach trying to trade for a safety to replace you. Their frustration pretty much boiled over, and I think they're more frustrated with Nate Allen because they know the coverages that they're supposed to be in. So they know when Nate Allen blew his assignment or didn't do his job on that play. And I think their frustration just boiled over with him to the point where now they're just trying to find a safety with better instincts. And I don't blame them because I'm about done with Nate Allen. I've been done with Nate Allen. And I told everybody this in my video earlier this year. I think it's time we move on from him. As far as Chip Kelly's play at the goal line where he chose to kick a field goal, I said the same thing because at that point Arizona had 17, I think, and we were winning the game with the field goal. They had 17 points, and to a certain, like, you can say the defense was playing pretty good that game. And The reason I said kick the field goal is because I had confidence that the D would come out and get the stop. I had like they were alright that game, so I said no, coach, and everybody was saying go for it, go for it. I'm like, no, get the 3, play it safe. The worst case scenario that I seen happening was Arizona kicks a field goal and ties the game, and we get the ball back. That's the way I looked at it at first. I'm pretty sure nobody saw a 76-yard touchdown catch by Josh Brown. Now, if you look at that play again, Nate Allen bit. I think it was a play action play. Nate Allen bit at the line at the line of scrimmage at the first down, and Kerry Williams was trailing John Brown, and he caught it. And then you see Nate Allen running, trailing. Being a safety, you're not really supposed to trail the play. You're supposed to be behind the play, not letting it get past you when you're in coverage. But for some strange reason, his instincts is just bad. On the tip of Chip Kelly, though, he says, yeah, I thought about going for it on 4th down. We got the 2-minute warning and we talked about it. He said, I thought our defense to that point was playing really, really well. I had confidence in them. I told them that we were kicking the field goal because I had confidence in them. So that right there lets you know that it wasn't really a wrong decision to me. I don't know how other fans feel about it. I know some of y'all think that we should have went for it. But this is my thing. If you go for it on 4th and inches and you don't get it, the game's still tied. All Arizona has to do is get in field goal range to win it. A guy like Carson Palmer, like I said in my first video, he's a veteran, so he knows how to run that clock down. It's kind of like basically what Drew Brees did to us in the playoffs last year. These are all the things that a veteran knows already. So had we not got in there on 4th down, it would have been Chip Kelly should have just took the point. So like at that point, Chip Kelly he wasn't in a win-win situation. My fucking point in the first video was sometimes you just got to make shit happen on 1st down, 2nd down. Like get in the fucking end zone on 1st down. Get in the end zone on 2nd down. Why do I have to come down on 4th down? These are the same situations that the offense put Andy Reid in a lot. And when we wound up losing the game, his decision was always a bad one. I wasn't mad at Chip Kelly for kicking the field goal because I said take the points, and as good as the D was playing, worst case scenario, they kick a field goal and tie the game. We get the ball back, we kick a field goal and win it. Maybe we go to overtime, I don't know. But I said play it safe, take the points. That was the plan. Of course, we lost because of John Brown touchdown, but that made Chip Kelly's decision look like a bad one. But it's all hearsay because there's no guarantee we would have gotten the end zone had he went for it on 4th. Now, I did say just get the 1st down. If they stop you at the goal line, worst case scenario, you do have the 1st down. But there's no telling what would have happened against them because for the most part, Shady did run the ball well, but they are the number 1 run defense in the league, so I felt more comfortable getting the field goal points than I did them going for it. Because the way I look at it, they should have got the damn touchdown. But like the picture I showed y'all in the last video, we had a 1st down. They just didn't challenge the spot of the ball. So, of course, we end up with 3rd and inches, and then Shady gets stopped. So I wasn't really mad at Chip Kelly for that play. Now, on to this point, Nick Foles. Nick Foles, of course, the distant memory of last year is just gone now. And I know a lot of fans like had high expectations, like he's gonna come in this year and build off what he did last year. The way I view Nick Foles, I said, okay, he got a whole year to prove to me that shit wasn't a fluke. And with 9 interceptions this year, I can live with 9 interceptions on the season and still say that's franchise caliber. Well, even more than 9. Like, if you got, like, say Foles finished the year with 11, 12 interceptions and 30-something touchdowns. That's good franchise quarterback caliber, whereas you can probably extend him, give him a good contract. 9 interceptions in the first 7 games. And if you look at his sack total, I think he's been sacked 7, 8 times this year. if you look at things like that, like it's not really. I mean, he does get pressure. He does get flushed out of the pocket. Don't get me wrong. But if you look at his interceptions, I don't get mad about interceptions and fumbles. I get mad at how they happen. Like for example, if you throw a deep ball into the other team's territory and it gets intercepted, I don't really get mad about that because the team has to drive from their territory to midfield into your territory into the red zone. It's a lot of field they have to cover. So if the defense gets out there and they get a stop or whatever, or they hold them to a field goal or whatever, I pretty much throw that interception in my memory banks and forget it, like whatever. The problem with Nick Foles is his interceptions are ill-advised this year. And I know he said in the I know the commentator said, I think in the Giants game, he said, Nick Foles just said, I just got to loosen up. I'm just going to go out there and throw the ball. If I get intercepted, I just got to come back out there. That's a good mentality to have, don't get me wrong. But you shouldn't say that to commentators, because when you start to throw them interceptions, they will use that against you, like they do. But me being a fan, like his interceptions, a lot of times they frustrate me because, like for example, the two interceptions he threw against the Giants could have been momentum killers. They could have cost us. They could have got points off of us. Could have been a whole different outcome in the game. Like for example, when Victor Cruz dropped that touchdown pass. It could have been a touchdown, but he dropped it. He was wide open. Things like that change the nature of the game and the outcome. It could change the outcome. The interceptions he threw against Arizona, he threw one in the end zone to Antonio Cromartie, trying to hit Josh Huff. I heard the commentator say he held the ball too long because Huff was open, which been a problem of his this year. But like things like that, I can live with if we win the game. But my problem with Nick Foles, and what I told my brother, we was arguing about this last night. I said if Nick Foles keeps playing like he's playing, throwing these interceptions, these ill-advised interceptions, and we wind up not making comebacks and winning games, Chip Kelly will bench him. And my brother seems to think that Chip Kelly loves Nick Foles to the point where he's not going to be a coach and do us better. And when you're playing bad, the saving grace was we was 5-1. So you can go to a press conference and say, yeah, he did, but we won the game. At the end of the day, wins is wins, like Chip Kelly was saying. But if you start losing these crucial games and it all boils down to turnovers, because like I told y'all in the first video, we pretty much bested them with everything. From statistics, we pretty much dominated them through statistics and everything. Even turnovers. The fact of the matter is we lost the game. So we go into these games losing these games, and it comes back to boiling down to turnovers, and Chip Kelly won't be able to stand there and say, like, you can't stand up there and say, yeah, he threw turnovers, but we're lucky to be 5-5. Like, you can't do that. So when it gets to a point where Chip Kelly can't use the record to justify how you won the game or whatever, it gets to a point where now it's like, okay, maybe it's time to put Sanchez in the game. And Sanchez is a seasoned veteran. I know he ruled off of that good defense the Jets had and everything, but he's been to 2 in the AFC championships. He's won playoff games and everything. And I know Nick Foles is still early in his career, but Mark Sanchez has a nice resume. And from what we've seen in the preseason, you know he can run this offense, because all you got to do is listen to Chip Kelly. As far as not listen to Chip Kelly, but all you got to do is execute Chip Kelly plays, because he's pretty much surrounded you with a dominant offense, like a bunch of playmakers. One thing that my brother said did hurt us, and I agree with him, was we didn't have Sproles yesterday. But even without Sproles, we could have won this damn game. It was a close game, so not having Sproles didn't really fuck us in the end, because like it was a close game. It wasn't a blowout or nothing like that. So, and of course Macklin had a career day. Like, so your number one receiver is out there doing his job. Like, you know, your tight ends is making them crucial catches. It's just the turnovers, the ill-advised turnovers. And I think Chip Kelly will bench Nick Foles if Nick Foles keeps throwing ill-advised interceptions and You know, the offense is stalling when the defense gets crucial stops. The offense comes out. He got to think of a new alternative. And from what Sanchez did in the preseason, I'm not saying he's going to come out and be firing on all cylinders if he gets put in the game, but it's a reason he's the backup. And like this play here where Foles overthrew Jordan Matthews, the ball like sailed way out of bounds. They did throw a flag like they was doing all fucking game, but whatever. And my last point is what was my last point? Kerry Williams. I'ma still ride with Kerry Williams because for the most part the defense is good. It's not like he's the weakest link on defense because he does get burnt and everything, but the weakest link on our defense, I think, is Nate Allen. Now, changing safeties, now you're testing the cornerbacks to see if the safeties was a problem. So if they still don't perform, you know, even if you got to hire a better caliber safety back there and replace Nate Allen, then you can start looking at the cornerbacks. But Chip Kelly has this team set up for years to come with the guys he got. He got Nolan Carroll. He got Jalen Watkins. Like, these is all guys he's seen in their college days, so he knows what type caliber players they are. And if he can mold them into the players, NFL caliber players in his scheme, like he always say, culture beats scheme. If he can get them to buy into his culture, which they pretty much already do because they play for him, like, we'll be alright. Now my last point. Who cost us the game? Okay, I'm gonna say, as far as who cost us the game, I can't put the blame on one person. Because you can say Chip Kelly choice to kick a field goal cost us the game in the end. You can say Kerry Williams cost us the game with that touchdown. You can say Nick Foles cost us the game by not driving downfield to get us that touchdown. My thing is this: are you gonna go off? Are you gonna go off like the clutch, or are you gonna go off the game as a whole? As far as clutch, who cost us the game, you got to put that on the offense and you got to put it on the defense for giving up that 76-yard touchdown. If you go off play calls, you got to blame it on Chip for going for the field goal. But at the end of the day, that bit you in the ass afterwards. Like, it's kind of like when David Akers missed those 2 field goals in the Green Bay game and we lost by 5. So when you do the math at the end of the game, you say, okay, those 2 field goals would have counted as 6. We would have won the game by 1 point. That's not always true. It's like Cooper in the San Francisco game. He dropped that touchdown pass. We would have won. We might have won because San Francisco still would have got the ball. You don't know what happened. A lot of things change the dynamics of the game. But at the end of the day, I think what cost us the game, like where we could have won, like I said in the first video, I'm not going to say Foles cost us the game, but if he had thrown a better pass to Jordan Matthews, we might have had one last chance to get his feet in bounds and get the win. So I'm not going to blame it on like one person which cost us the game. Like, collectively we lost that game with a bunch of mistakes. The red zone fumble by Josh Huff. The red zone, not the red zone interception. Yeah, the end zone interception could have cost. Like, you just don't know because there was so many things. The refs calling all these damn penalties. Collectively, we lost that game as a team, man. And I can't pinpoint like who cost us that game. It was a lot of shit. Like, but at the end of the day, we did lose because of John Brown touchdown. So if you want to pin that on Nate Allen and Kerry Williams, I understand. But at the same time, like, we had 3 timeouts and a minute and a half left to drive downfield and get a touchdown. So me, I would say that put our back against the wall because we did have the lead. But I don't know. I blame it on a lot of shit while we lost this game. I mean, if it was one player, I would say it was one player like that cost us the game. But Carey didn't get burnt for touchdowns all game. The secondary didn't get burnt all game for touchdowns. They did get burnt for touchdowns, but for one. But like Carson Palmer wasn't torching our secondary. Like he wasn't torching our defense. Like they just got 2 long touchdowns. But it's hard to say, man. It's a team effort, man, and it's a bunch of shit that contributed to this loss, man. I just hope against Houston and against these other teams, all the bullshit gets corrected. So then you have a better way to pinpoint why we lost. Like against San Francisco, I clearly could say Chip Kelly cost us that game because he got out coached and he was too damn predictable. But that's the only loss we had up to this point. So this game was different, man. Like it was a good, close, tight game all game. So little mistakes led to our loss, but probably the one thing that stands out is that John Brown touchdown to me. And I mean, if I had to blame it on something, I would say that cost us the game because of course the offense didn't come out and score. So you got to blame it on that if you want to, like, if you have to pinpoint something. So, but me collectively, we lost that shit with a bunch of shit that was just happening. Like, and we had the chance to win, and ain't nothing worse than a fucking loss where you could have won the damn game. But anyways, man, on to Houston, man. Y'all know how we do. I'll be back next week, you know what I'm saying? Riding for the Eagles just like all of y'all, like we do, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully we go 6-2, man, but just watch the Dallas game tonight. Hope watch to do their job, man. You know, but anyways, I holla at y'all, man. That's my part 2 of the video. I'm Goose. Peace.